A climbing rope is supposed to be stronger than steel cable when you need it most, but some ropes hide their weakness until the moment of truth. Since the first recorded climbing rope failure in 1865, over 250 climbers have died from rope system breakdowns. Modern forensics show that 85% of failed ropes had invisible internal damage. Dan Osman wasn't just any adrenaline junkie, he was the master of controlled falling. A legendary free soloist who transformed rope jumping into an extreme art form, Osman had gained fame through videos showing him intentionally plummeting hundreds of feet on climbing ropes. For him, calculating rope dynamics and fall factors was second nature. In November 1998, Osman returned to his massive rope jumping rig at Yosemite's Leaning Tower. He had meticulously constructed this complex system of multiple ropes and anchors over several weeks, exposed to Yosemite's harsh weather. His setup incorporated both dynamic and static ropes, designed to safely catch falls exceeding 1,000 feet. Osman launched himself from the cliff face with his usual precision. The fall began exactly as planned, with ropes stretching to absorb the impact. During the descent, however, he drifted slightly off his intended trajectory. One dynamic rope crossed over a static line, creating immense friction at his 100+ miles per hour fall speed. The nylon fibers flash melted in milliseconds, and the rope snapped with a sound witnesses described as a gunshot. Osman fell the remaining distance to his death, his safety system completely compromised. Forensic analysis revealed the rope-on-rope friction had created catastrophic heat buildup. His death became the definitive case study in friction-induced rope failure, shifting his legacy from pushing boundaries to highlighting hidden dangers. The young climber was a dedicated indoor athlete who followed all safety protocols religiously. He was known for his methodical approach to gear maintenance and inspection. His rope appeared perfect, with no visible signs of wear or damage. In the early 1990s, the climber prepared for a routine lowering in a German climbing gym. The rope had been stored in his car trunk between climbing sessions. Visual inspection revealed no obvious damage, and it passed all standard safety checks. Unknown to him, chemical contamination was destroying the rope from within. His storage location near a leaking car battery was slowly dissolving the nylon core with sulfuric acid. The climber clipped into his lowering device for a routine descent and weighted the rope with normal body weight. The rope looked and felt completely normal as he began his descent. Without warning, it snapped cleanly under minimal load. The acid contamination had turned the core fibers to liquid mush, while the outer sheath appeared perfect. He fell to the gym floor, his perfect-looking rope proving completely worthless. The incident became a landmark case study in chemical rope contamination. Pitt Schubert's analysis revealed the horrifying extent of invisible damage. The case became the definitive example of how ropes can fail without warning, creating deep paranoia about invisible chemical contamination in climbing gear. Edward Whymper wasn't just any Victorian adventurer, he was obsessed with conquering the Matterhorn. On July 14, 1865, his team successfully reached the summit. The group included experienced guides Michel Croze and Peter Taugwalder, along with clients Charles Hudson, Lord Francis Douglas, and Douglas Haddo. They chose to rope together for the dangerous descent. Multiple ropes were available, including strong manila lines and thinner backup ropes. The team's rope management would prove fatally flawed. During the descent, the inexperienced Haddo slipped on the steep terrain, losing his footing. His fall knocked guide Croze off balance, creating a chain reaction. The weight of two falling men pulled Hudson and Douglas from their positions. Whymper and the remaining guides braced against the sudden shock load. Without warning, the rope connecting them to the falling four snapped. The line that failed was the oldest and thinnest, a backup rope never intended for shock loads. Four men disappeared over the 4,000-foot precipice as the survivors watched in horror. The tragedy overshadowed the triumph of the first Matterhorn ascent. Controversy raged for decades over whether the rope was cut or simply failed. The Matterhorn tragedy became the foundational case study in rope system failures, establishing the need for proper rope selection protocols. Todd Skinner was a Yosemite legend and world-renowned free climber who had pioneered routes across America. His harness had carried him through thousands of feet of vertical granite. In 2006, Skinner was working on establishing a new route called Jesus Built My Hot Rod on the Leaning Tower. Days of climbing had put continuous wear on his harness system. The belay loop showed visible signs of friction damage, which Skinner had mentioned to his climbing partner. Still, he continued using the worn harness. Skinner was rappelling down his fixed lines after another day of route work when the gradual wear became catastrophic failure. As he simply leaned back to rest, the worn belay loop reached its breaking point and snapped completely under normal body weight. No dynamic loading or shock, just the gradual failure of compromised equipment. Skinner fell 500 feet, his moment of rest becoming his final mistake. The climbing community was shocked by the loss of such an experienced legend. His harness failure occurred during routine use, proving that even experts can misjudge equipment condition. Skinner's death became the definitive case study in equipment retirement protocols, shifting his legacy to pioneering gear safety awareness. John Harlin II was the blonde god of alpinism, a charismatic mountaineer who embodied the golden age of American climbing. In March 1966, Harlin attempted a direct route up the Eiger's notorious North Face, choosing the most technically demanding line ever attempted on the mountain. The route required fixing ropes for multiple days of climbing. Static lines were left in place, exposed to weather and constant use. The ropes appeared intact during daily visual inspections. Harlin was ascending a fixed rope using mechanical ascenders near the spider when invisible damage became catastrophically visible. The static line had been rubbing against a sharp rock edge for days. Each climber's movement created micro-abrasions that slowly severed the core fibers, though the rope looked completely intact from the outside. As Harlin weighted the line, the accumulated damage reached critical failure. The rope severed completely at the contact point, sending him falling 4,000 feet while his partner Dougal Haston watched helplessly from above. Harlin's death exposed the hidden danger of edge abrasion on fixed ropes. His accident revolutionized how climbers protect ropes from sharp rock edges, becoming the definitive case study in abrasion-induced rope failure. Brad Gobright was one of the world's fastest speed climbers and a legendary free soloist. In November 2019, Gobright and his partner prepared to descend El Sendero Luminoso in Mexico using simul-rappelling, a technique where both climbers rappel simultaneously on opposite rope ends. Standard safety protocol required stopper knots at both rope ends, but Gobright, known for moving fast and light, had skipped this precaution. The rope was not properly centered at the anchor point, leaving Gobright's side significantly shorter. As Gobright descended, he reached the end of his shorter rope section and rappelled completely off the end. His sudden weight loss caused the rope to pull through his partner's device. Both climbers fell, with Gobright plummeting to his death, while his partner survived with injuries. Gobright's death highlighted how basic safety procedures can be overlooked even by experts. The missing stopper knots represented a fundamental failure of standard protocol. His legacy shifted from speed records to a cautionary tale about never skipping basic safety steps. If you've made it this far and you're fascinated by these hidden rope failures, please subscribe to my channel. 7 different climbers, 7 different ways their ropes betrayed them, all sharing one terrifying truth. These weren't manufacturing defects or acts of nature, they were hidden failures. Ropes that looked perfect but were structurally compromised, equipment that appeared functional but was secretly worthless, and basic procedures skipped with fatal consequences. The most disturbing part? Most of these failures were invisible until the moment of catastrophic breakdown. A rope can look perfect while being completely useless. Your most trusted gear can become your most dangerous enemy without any warning signs. Every climber stakes their life on a simple assumption, that their rope will catch them when they fall. But these 7 cases prove that assumption can be fatally wrong. The rope you trust with your life might already be planning your death.